So you understand all the legal technicalities in regards to adverse possession. Well, you've reached this video, which means you now want to adversely possess some property. And right now, I am outside an abandoned commercial property. But how do we know this property is abandoned? Well, for one, there's fly tipping here, and my knee is currently in glass. But there's more signs than just fly tipping that you need to look out for to know if a property is truly abandoned. Signs you can look out for are things such as spray paint all over the walls, because people would often clear that up. And in regards to this property, there is glass absolutely everywhere. This building is evidently left unkept, with smashed exterior parts, and normal people wouldn't have that on their properties. But it goes further than that, obviously, because with this property, we have boarded up windows. Now, boarded up windows don't necessarily mean abandoned, but once you include the spray paint and all the other exterior damage, it's likely that this is abandoned. As you can see, this property is worse for wear. Absolutely derelict, pretty much. The stairs aren't even attached further up. So this is a great example of what an abandoned property is. You can see the fly tipping, you can see the boarded up windows, and you can see it's just been left completely abandoned. And if you are interested in adverse possessing this exact property, it's a building next to Farm Foods in Warrington, Cheshire. Enjoy. I'm not going to adverse possess it, but someone might as well. Wow, what a mess that building is. I'm sure it could be an absolutely lovely building. I believe it used to be an old pub, but it's just completely fallen apart. It's now derelict. It's very sad when you see buildings like that, and it annoys me when in this country we have so many new builds being built when we don't need them, when there are buildings like this decaying. But this isn't the only example that I'm going to give you, as we're now going to go and head over to an abandoned house that I know, which isn't too far away. Right, this isn't the abandoned house that I was coming to see, but I've just seen this on the drive over. The roof, well, there isn't any. The windows, boarded up. Let's go have a look. The outside of the building is falling apart with tree roots. And the other side of it is absolutely tormented. Look at that. No one's living in that. But is anyone claiming it? That's the £1 million question, because you can find an abandoned property. Look, it's even got plants growing out the wall. But just because it looks abandoned, it might not be. It has bars over the window. Likely, someone still cares about this property. And if we go over here, I was going to say a new lock, and the lock isn't rusted, so it should be, but it's also been ripped off the wall. So, maybe someone doesn't care about it. Interesting. Oh, that does open. Okay. So the question is this building behind me abandoned? Well, it certainly looks abandoned. The roof is falling apart. It's definitely not been looked after. But I've got a feeling that someone does care about it. Or if they don't care about it, it might be forgotten but still under possession. Either way, it could be a good adverse possession opportunity, but I'm not 100%. If you're interested in looking into this building more, it's just opposite Tannery Court in Warrington by the Warrington Wolves Stadium, which is just there. Right here. Now behind me here is another abandoned property situated in Warrington. This one has been abandoned for a minimum of 5 years, as I have been aware of it for 5 years now. Is there a chance that it has been abandoned a lot longer? Yes, there is, and I'll be able to check that out on Google Maps. How do I know this property is abandoned and it's not just been left and it's still loved? Apart from noticing the boarded up windows and the obviously unkept exterior, over time I have been aware that in the past there have been squatters that have been in there and windows have been smashed and stuff, so I'm unaware on what the state is like on the inside, but to the best of my knowledge, no one seems to care about this property, which just happens to be next door to the Green Cross Pharmacy in Warrington, if anyone would like to adverse possess it. It's a very sad exterior and unfortunately unkept. So how do we find abandoned properties? Well, the simple answer is you have to go looking, and that sounds a bit cliche. Oh yeah, let's just go looking for abandoned properties. But no, seriously, 90% of abandoned properties slip into the crowd. They are next door to properties which aren't abandoned and forget to be seen. Of course, you do get the odd occasion where a building has been completely derelict and it's just been left there and you can see it's obviously abandoned. But sometimes it's just the little bits. Maybe a relative of someone has died and someone lives abroad and they just don't care about the property and they don't know what to do with it and it's just decaying and they're not, it's just a waste. It's the little things. You have to watch out for the little things. Sometimes it's the fly tipping. Sometimes it's just the overgrown lawn. Sometimes it's the build-up of mail. It's the little things that matter. But saying this, I'm going to go and show you a pub, a commercial building, which I'm aware of, which hasn't actually been abandoned, but does look abandoned. And we're going to be discussing the differences between abandoned and not abandoned to help you out with all this. Do you know what I think is absolutely disgusting? The fact that whilst I've been recording this video and driving from one abandoned property to another, I have been passing other abandoned properties which I have not featured in this video. And these properties are all within close proximity. There is so many abandoned properties everywhere, and they're all so unkept and unlooked after, yet there's people like us who just want a home. But I'll tell you one thing I don't have an issue with, and that's this old pub. It may look abandoned on the outside, but it's not. And how do I know that this property is not abandoned? Here's a piece of evidence right here. CCTV in operation. Now, to be honest with you, anyone could put up a CCTV in operation sign, even someone who is adversely possessing this property. But no one is adversely possessing this property. Now, it is most certainly interesting, as at one point you have freshly cut grass here on the property. And as well as that, you have lovely new posts, fence, metal. But then it's also boarded up. Yet over here, you have a bunch of fly tipping. And to be honest with you, that's probably why the metal fence got put up, because people were fly tipping on this land. Now, putting the metal fence up obviously shows that someone cares about this property. Someone is keeping this property maintained. Yes, there has been a bit of fly tipping on it, but to the most part, it is being well looked after. So even though this building is completely boarded up, this building is not abandoned. We've spoken about property. I've shown you abandoned houses as well as abandoned commercial buildings in this video. Well, now I'm here to introduce you to some abandoned land. Now, if you recognize this piece of land, it's because this land has been featured in previous videos of mine, as this is a piece of abandoned land that I am adversely, possessively claiming myself. Now, from when I last recorded a video here, I was spraying everything down with salt water to kill it, and obviously it has died, which is great. But where does that leave me with my piece of land, and what's this got any reference to do with, well, adverse possession? You might be wondering, how did I find this piece of land, and how did I work out that no one owned it and it was abandoned? That is absolutely an amazing question. How do we know if my piece of land was truly abandoned? Well, I'm going to take you through the process on how you can see if a piece of land or property is truly abandoned before you go and adversely possess it, because obviously you don't want to put a claim on the wrong property or piece of land. Well, to find that out, you're going to have to wait to the next video. So thank you so much for watching this. I really do hope you have enjoyed it and you are enjoying the adverse possession series. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And if you have any questions in regards to finding properties or adverse possession, please let me know in the comments below, because I would really like to know. After this series, I would like to do a massive Q&A where I can answer all of your questions. So seriously, any questions, chuck them down there and they will be answered. Adios, my mis amigos, and I shall see you guys all in the next video, which will be out on Tuesday. Yes.